Watch TV, promoting sustainable development.
Your Wednesday evenings are always best spent with me, 𝐘𝐨𝐿 by your gorgeous host on the Youth Avenue on Watch TV channel. Good evening to you all, and I hope you had a great day. Previously, we started discussion on youth and migration, and tonight we have the Assistant Inspector for the Ghana Immigration Service here with us, alongside a rep from the Adansi Travels. And we're going to have a very beautiful discussion here this evening. So stay with us. I'll let you know their names very soon. But before then, I'd like to remind you to please subscribe to all our social media platforms. Yes, if you have not done that, please follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and then on TikTok at Watch TV channel. The program is sponsored by the Center for Volunteerism and Social Transformation, CENVAST. So follow CENVAST on all social media platforms at CENVAST. This is the Youth Avenue, and as you know, it's on this show that we sit to address issues that hinders our development as youth. Tonight, as I stated earlier, we are continuing our discussion on youth and migration. So for my guest tonight, she is the sales manager for Adansi Travels, Ms. 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐻. Welcome.
Thank you.
And also, we are honored to have here with us the Assistant Inspector of Ghana Immigration Service, Western Region Public Affairs.
Yes, that's right.
He's in the person of, okay, so let me add a title to it. He's Assistant Inspector Moses Manford Akakpo.
Yes.
You're warmly welcome, sir.
Thank
This
you.
is the Youth Avenue.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And we started this series about 2 weeks ago, and then we are talking about youth and then migration. I mean, we all want to travel. We all want to migrate to different places for various reasons. Yes, and so tonight we want you to enlighten us a bit more about this topic, migration. So you're welcome once again.
Thank you.
Okay, today I'll start with the inspector, the assistant inspector, yes. So I'd like you to please tell us a bit about Ghana Immigration Service and then what you do.
Thank you. And I bring you warm greetings from our regional commander,
Thank you.
Deputy Commissioner of Immigration, Beatrice Opoti, and of course, the entire immigration officers within Western Region.
Okay.
Ghana Immigration Service is one of the security institutions in Ghana. It is established by Immigration Service Act 2016. That's Act 908. And the Act gives us our mandate, which is specifically to manage migration and also to contribute to national security. From the mandate, we get our functions. One of them is that we regulate movement across our borders. We patrol our borders 24 hours a day.
Okay.
We issue requisite permits to foreign nationals in the country, be it their schooling, working, whatever they've come to Ghana to do. We issue the requisite permits. We also make sure our immigration laws are fully enforced. And then we also contribute to national security. And then we have something we call international cooperation agreement, like the ECOWAS Protocol on Free Movement of Persons, Residents and Establishment. We advise on and we make sure it is fully implemented.
Okay.
And our motto is service, friendship with vigilance.
Service.
Friendship with vigilance.
Okay, friendship
Yes.
with vigilance.
Yes.
Okay. So when we say Ghana Immigration Service,
So when you see me in town, just shout friendship and I'll respond with vigilance.
okay, friendship.
With vigilance.
Okay, thank you. All right, so you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'd like you to please tell us a bit about Adansi Travels.
Right. So we also bring you greetings from Adansi Travels. At Adansi Travels, we say feel life's beauty.
Feel life's beauty.
Yes, there's so much beauty in life.
Yes.
And traveling exposes that as well. So 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐸 Travels, we're 10 years old this year.
Okay.
It was a group of friends. Yeah, we're celebrating it with everybody in the Western region as well. It was a group of friends that traveled to Dubai for business, and then they organized it themselves. So they realized that if we can do this, and we came and had fun, why don't we come back home, set up a travel agency that would bring travel to the doorstep of every Ghanaian. So business and leisure travel. And so 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐸 was started in 2013 in Obuasi.
Okay.
But then, you know, Ghana, everyone calls and you're in Obuasi and they're scared. So the name 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐸 actually comes from the 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐸 region of Obuasi, you know, that area. So we moved our headquarters from Obuasi to Accra to make it more open and trustworthy. And now we are opening a branch in Takoradi at the mall.
Wow.
So that's a brief of 𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐸 Travel. We just want everyone to have the opportunity to travel, whether it's from Tamale to Kumasi, or from Ghana to Abidjan, or to Dubai, or to UK, or wherever it is.
Wow, interesting. Thank you very much. Assistant Inspector, please, are there any kind of laws, that we need to know as youth that governs the immigration services?
Okay, as I alluded to from the beginning,
yes,
we are a security institution, and everything we do is backed by law.
Okay.
And we've categorized our laws into 4. We have immigration-related laws. I can think of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, the 1992 Constitution. We have Immigration Service Act 2016, as I mentioned earlier. We have Immigration Act 2000, that's Act 573. We have the Citizenship Act, and we have the Refugees Act. These laws fall under immigration-related laws. And then we have security-related laws. That is Security and Intelligence Act, the Security and Intelligence Agencies Act. We have, how do you call it, Criminal and Offences Act, and other legislations that come under. And then we go to the one I spoke about earlier, International Corporate Agreement and what have you. So international laws in relation to immigration or migration. That is ECOWAS Protocol on Free Movement of Goods, Persons and Establishment. And then we have Convention for the Right of Migrant Workers and their Families. You see, as a migrant, wherever you are, you must be treated fairly, just like the indigents. So there are laws that regulate that. And then we have investment laws, like the GIPC law Act. We have Free Zones Act and other laws. So these are the laws that regulate our activities. For instance, we have the right to arrest, investigate, prosecute. In the line of our duty, we don't have to infringe on the right of the people we seek to work for. So these laws help us to be able to deliver on our mandate.
And the topic of migration, I mean, sometimes we get it all wrong. Can you educate us more about migration?
What I can say is that there is no life without migration. And migration began the very day God created the world. So people have to move for things to happen. And there are a lot of reasons for which people move. It could be for educational purpose, it could be for economic purpose, political reasons, and what have you. Now, migration has 2 legs, regular and irregular migration. I am not comfortable using the word legal and illegal, because it is not every irregular migrant who commits an offense. Some of them are victims. In fact, a lot of migration related offenses are not crime. So That is migration for you. And we have different forms of migration. We have internal migration, that is moving from one city or one village to another. We have international migration, that is moving across international borders. We also have immigration, and we have immigration. So that's about it. But generally, migration is simply moving a group or an individual moving from one geographical location to another, either for permanent or temporary reasons.
Okay. Yes. Wow, interesting. So from the perspective of travel, Adansi travel, okay, how do you see migration amongst the youth in Ghana now?
Well, a lot of Ghanaians like to travel or move. We've been doing this for 10 years, and what we've realized is that even though we try to focus on internal migration, most youth prefer external migration. When people call, because I'm the sales manager, and so I do receive hundreds of calls. Literally, sometimes in a day you get so many calls. And when they call you, say, hello, Adansi Travels, yes, how can I help you? Please, do you have any work in Qatar or Singapore or US or Canada? Those are the requests that comes in. Why? Then you ask them, why do you want to go to Qatar to work? And then they might tell you whether they are not satisfied with their current employment, if they are employed, or most of them, they are now looking for work, they finished school and they don't have anything to do, or some of them are skilled workers but haven't found anything to do here. So then they want to seek employment outside. Others also, sometimes they just hear things. They've just heard that, oh, there's some work in Canada, so can you link me up? So it's about the kind of information they need, whether it's economic or the lack of detailed information that makes them want to go out there. But 90% of the requests that comes to us as travel agents from the youth definitely is about working. They do not understand leisure at all. Why should I go and spend money outside and come back here to this Ghana? That's what they tell you sometimes.
And enjoy it.
Yes.
Inspector, Assistant Inspector, sorry.
You keep promoting.
Yes. Okay, so let's take it from the illegal migration. I mean, people that choose to migrate through the desert, the stowaway, and then those ones. How do you deal with such persons, like the youth that migrate using these routes, not using the right ways?
Okay, let me start by saying that migration is good. And without migration, I wouldn't be sitting here. It is when people travel the right way that we get work to do. So migration is good. We are not here to stop anybody, to condemn migration. But the way you go about it makes it regular or irregular. Now, if you want to travel, you need to ask yourself certain pertinent questions. Why am I traveling? What do I seek to achieve? Do I have the means to go? My destination country, do I have any knowledge about how their cultural values, how things are done there? It is these questions, after you have sufficiently answered, that will make you take the decision whether to go or not to go. Now, as Madam has already alluded to, many a time it's about misinformation and peer pressure. People travel and come within a space of time, and their dressing and everything about them change without us knowing what they may have gone through.
But how does that really happen?
what they may have gone through there. Now, when it comes to irregular migration, it's a clandestine activity.
Okay.
Nobody will come to immigration and come and tell us that tomorrow I want to do stowaway. Or I don't have the requisite papers to travel with. So in order for us to minimize or to curtail that, the service has put in place certain measures.
Okay.
First of all, we have Migration Information Center, because we realize that a lot of our youth act on hearsay without going to the route to inquire before they embark on these things. So Migration Information Center, what they do is that anytime you want to travel, you call on them. Whatever information you require, be it visa, how to acquire genuine visa, and everything about your travel, they will advise you. We also have a unit called DFEC.
Okay.
That is Document Fraud and Expertise Center. Gone are the days when people sat in their rooms to manufacture documents and all that. But now, Ghana Immigration Service, we can beat our chest and say that we have one of the most sophisticated, state-of-the-art equipment to check the genuineness or otherwise of whatever document you bring. So even with the embassies and our sister security agencies, if you submit a document to them and they are in doubt, they forward it to us.
Okay.
We also have a unit called the Border Patrol Unit. Their duty is to patrol our borders 24 hours. So when you and I are asleep, they will be working just to check illegal entry or exit or some miscreant who want to disturb the peace of this country. So they are well trained and they are able to engage, you know. So when they get you entering the country through an unauthorized point of entry, they will arrest you and the laws will apply.
Okay.
We also have a unit called ASTIP. What they do is that ASTIP is anti, I'll get the full A for you. Anti-human trafficking and smuggling in persons.
Okay.
That's at ASTIP. They go into communities, educate our citizenry and compatriots on safe ways to travel, and sometimes they go along with some of the returnees or some of the people who have suffered by way of irregular migration. They take them to the communities, they educate them on safe ways to travel.
Okay.
So these are some of the things we've been doing. We also have a policy on community engagement, where from time to time we move from communities to educate and sensitize them on safe ways to travel. Mind you, we are not against travel. So for instance, the last International Migrants Day, we had a float together with the new Takrady indigenes, and after which we seized the opportunity to educate them on safe ways to travel. So these and many more are what we are doing to make sure our youth travel safely.
Okay, thank you. And Sarah, so when it comes to your industry or your organization, what do you really do, or what help do you offer to these people, young people who come that they want to travel using the right means?
Right. So now we know we live in a global village.
Yes.
And there are so many opportunities out there that we Ghanaian youth do qualify or can aspire to outside. If you read, sometimes you read about the top mathematician or NASA scientist, and some of these people are Ghanaians. They went there to help improve. And so at Adanse Travels, what we do is that we go to trade shows. So we go to our world travel market. Recently, our MD just finished the Arab travel markets in Dubai. We go to ITB Berlin. So all these are avenues that bring together various agencies that allows for regular, I was going to say illegal, that allows for regular migration. So Adansi Travels, for example, we have a subsidiary, Adansi Edu and Work Consult. So we assist the younger ones who want to further their education abroad. And that is one of the regular ways. So once you school there, you have the documents, you have the certificates, you can work. And also we have agencies that do provide a lot of working opportunities for both skilled and low skilled. Is low skilled the right word? Intermediate skilled, you know, work, so that they can go and assist. Because I mean, if you look at world population right now, some countries have older generations.
Yes.
They live longer because of the environment they are in, and so their working class keeps depreciating. And so they need young people to come and support them. Unfortunately for us, we might not have all the necessary industries or job opportunities for all our youth, because most of us Africans, I think we're young, maybe because we died too early, but we have a lot of young generation amongst us that are vibrant and that can work. So there's nothing wrong with seeking out these legal organizations or institutions, and there are millions of them, and there's so many opportunities, and some also do come here. So it's not just we also do host people from outside the country. We have a sales office in Nigeria, you know, that do come into Ghana to do their businesses or for leisure and go back. So it's a two-way affair. Like officer said, migration is good, and people migrate for all sorts of reasons. Abraham went to Egypt. Jacob and his family moved to Egypt when there was famine. You know, so our duty here is to make sure that we are supporting. And it's good to hear that there are all these agencies, you know, that is available and offer the right guidance. So programs like this, which I find very interesting and informative, is to help educate the young ones so that they don't become victims of perpetrators, people that want to take advantage of them, you know, and take them to areas where they are not regular and they do suffer. So yeah, if they do come to us, there's so many opportunities we have.
Okay. So this is the Youth Avenue, and we are on our discussion on youth and migration. Yes. So to continue our discussion, sir, let me just go with sir so that
I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Okay. So what kind of support does the Ghana Immigration Service give to people who travel legally? I mean, when they get to their destinations, when they are going and all that, what kind of support and guidelines or guidance do you give?
You mean when they are traveling?
When they are traveling,
outside
yes,
the country.
and then in ensuring their safety and then all that, even when they leave, since we have to go through your hands and all that.
Very well. I've already indicated that we are a security service and we don't operate outside the confines of our laws and mandate. So what happens is that first of all, before you travel, you should have the requisite document. So if you appear before an immigration officer and he finds fault with any of your document, he cannot approve for you to go. And mind you, when we give you a departure stamp, what we are saying to the receiving country is that you are a citizen of Ghana. You have no criminal record. The government of Ghana is aware that you are traveling into their country. So immediately they give you arrival stamp. It means that correspondence has gone on well. They recognize you as a citizen of Ghana. So when there is trouble or confusion, anything within the area where, within the country you have visited, Ghana government can ask the visiting country to produce you or provide you with every necessary support that you need. After all, that's the reason for which our embassies and high commissions exist there. So it's a requirement that if you travel into a country where you are going to reside for a while, you find where our embassy or high commission is, and you identify yourself as a Ghanaian, they will register you if there is any reason for which they should extend assistance to you. They will do that. So what we do is that at the point of departure, we make sure that indeed you are traveling as a regular migrant. But our powers or our mandate does not extend beyond the borders of our country, except we go through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Yes.
Okay. And what are the requirements that one really needs to be able to travel and then go as a regular immigrant?
So it depends on many things. One, which country are you visiting? For instance, as I mentioned earlier on, we have the ECOWAS Protocol on Free Movement of Persons, Residents and Establishment. That is Article 2 of the ECOWAS Protocol. It stipulates that every ECOWAS national has the right to travel into another ECOWAS country for a maximum period of 90 days. If you intend going beyond 90 days, you need to approach the authorities for an extension. So you don't need visa to travel from one ECOWAS country to the other. Say from Ghana to Nigeria, for Ghana to Burkina Faso, you don't need visa. However, you need a travel document, an endorsable travel document. And in this case, I'll recommend passport always. Now, if you are going overseas, you should find out if the country you are traveling to has some bilateral arrangement with Ghana that says you don't require visa, because we have some countries that we don't pay for visa before we visit there. That is a gratis arrangement. We also have countries where you have to procure visa before. So every country have different visa regimes for. So I cannot sit here and say, if you are traveling as a Ghanaian, this is the only. But if you are traveling to a country where you require visa, first of all, you need an invitation. You need an invitation. After you've received the invitation, you prepare yourself. You need to get a passport. That is the primary travel document. After you've gotten your passport, you need money. Let me put it bluntly.
Yes.
You need money to travel. But let me also say here that regular travels end up being cheaper than irregular.
Really?
Yes, because we don't have sufficient information. So if you have the necessary financial resource, you apply to the embassy. They determine or decide whether to grant you the visa or not.
Probably
we, Ghana Immigration, do not have control. Just like if anybody applies for Ghana visa anywhere in the world, we decide, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs decides whether to grant it or not. Having received the visa, I will also recommend that we do some research. That is why we have MIC, Migration Information Center. If you are in doubt, you approach us and the necessary assistance will be given. So generally, these are the steps you need to take when you want to travel.
Okay.
Ask yourself, why am I traveling? Where am I going? Do I have the means?
Yeah.
How long am I going to be there? What is the immigration regime there? The visa requirements there?
Yeah.
Culturally, do I fit into their society?
Yeah.
Because there are countries you go and your behavior in Ghana, you can't extend it there. So this, you may have traveled as a regular migrant with papers and everything intact.
Yeah.
But because you did not do proper research, you did not seek proper information, you end up being an irregular migrant.
Yeah. When you were talking earlier, you made mention of we traveling to the ECOWAS community, having a maximum of about 90 days. So I ask, should in case one goes, okay, successfully, and at the end of the 90 days they come back, right, and later they want to go again, is it still allowed that they will still be granted that 90 days to go back again?
Yes, it depends on
The reason for going?
it depends on the information you give us.
Okay.
Because even though you are entitled to 90 days, if you approach us, if you get to the airport or the border, we interview you. If we realize you don't really need 90 days to be in this country, we'll give you 2 weeks. Just like you may have 5 years visa to US. But upon arrival, they will decide whether to give you all the 5 years.
Okay.
So that is how it works.
Okay.
Always you must have genuine and reasonable reason, if I may say that,
Yes.
to travel.
Okay.
Once you have that, I don't think you have a problem.
And some of these reasons that are acceptable to the immigration service is what?
Trade
Okay.
is one of the reasons. Tourism, family reunion,
Okay.
education, marriage,
Okay.
security and peace. You see, Ghana is relatively the most peaceful country within the sub-region.
Yeah.
So that alone attracts a lot of our neighbors into our country.
Yeah.
So these are the reasons. Cultural differences. A lot of things. Sometimes even there are some countries, to get basic information to be able to move about becomes a problem. So people travel for varying reasons. But we are trained to be able to read people. So if you appear before us and you are lying, we know.
We get you.
And we have the right to refuse you or
Okay.
not to refuse you. If we detect that perhaps one of your documents is not genuine, you might find yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
But if you are in doubt, kindly approach immigration.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So,
I'm dying to add up to what
okay.
Assistant
Go
Inspector
ahead.
said.
Yes.
Right, so he mentioned that there are certain things that you have to go through.
Yeah.
Find a destination, your reason for travel, check out the visa requirements,
Yeah.
is it safe to go, all of that. That is why we are here.
Okay.
Every country has travel agents. So what do we do as travel agents? One of our duties is to make sure that your clients or the individuals leaving your home destination is going to a destination that is safe for them. So Adansi Travels, for example, we are registered with the Immigration Fraud Unit at the Ghana Immigration Service. We are certified, we do group travel, so whenever we are taking people traveling, we send the Ghana Immigration a list of all the people who are traveling, what they are going to do when they are returning. It's a safety measure, as we have all learned. So Ghana Immigration knows that Adansi Travels is taking 50 people to Germany. They're leaving on the 10th and they're returning on the 20th. If anything goes awry, they know that Adansi Travels knows what to do because they already have partners there. They know the Ghana Immigration Embassy to call on. All of these are safety measures, and they are there to protect us. So if you are going to an agency or you approach an agency to help you to travel, please do your background check. Are they certified? Does Ghana immigration approve of them to take people? Because as he said, if your things do not check out or they find out that you're lying, they can prevent you from living in the country, just as they can prevent you from entering. We do, like I said earlier, we do go to various destinations to make sure that they are safe for Ghanaian travelers to go to. We make sure that we know where the embassies are in all the destinations that we go to. For all our education and student, those who goes, we make sure that we link them up to all the various international institutions where they can feel safe and where they can also communicate back to us should they fall in any problem. And all of these things are there to protect us. It's just that because maybe sometimes we are not educated, or there is not a lot of proactive, educating the public on some of these things, people fall into certain traps. But please do look out for reputable agencies that follows the law and that can make sure that you are safe. All of these visa requirements and things that he mentioned, if you come to us, we know that if you're going to Singapore, what do you need? Somebody can even collect money, may Singapore visa amount. But Ghana and Singapore has an agreement where you can travel visa free, but there are conditions. What are the conditions? You must have your return ticket, you must have your hotel, you must have your itinerary of what you're going to do in the country before you're allowed entry. All of these things, when you come to us, we'll be able to assist.
Okay, so right now, our main concern is with the people who travel illegally. Am I? Can I use that word still?
I hear you. You continue. Irregular migrants.
Irregular migrants.
That is more acceptable.
Okay. Okay. So our concern is with the irregular migrants. They choose to risk their lives and then go through all that path just to get there. Please, what do we think is the main reason why they go through that? Is it that they don't have the knowledge about what to do, or they think that's the cheapest way? Sir.
Okay. I indicated earlier that it is rather cheaper to travel regularly or using regular means
To travel.
sorry, than to go the irregular. Now, once you travel without proper documentation, you expose yourself to all forms of attacks. Now, one of the illegal businesses booming globally is organ harvesting. Once you don't go through proper means of traveling, you are exposed. Some of them actually get sold before they get to their destination without them knowing. There are people who are phantomly rich. Recently we heard of a Nigerian senator who had trafficked a street boy to UK because his daughter had kidney issue. So the the boy was taken to UK specifically to be operated upon and his kidney taken and given. You see how unfair the world can be. But if this boy had had information that before you travel, you need to satisfy yourself with certain things, he wouldn't have found himself this way. Now, those of our people who travel through the sea and the Atlantic Ocean, you usually see this big, what we call balloon that they sit on. It's called rubber dinghy. Now, after that thing being on the high seas for a very long time, because of the salty nature of the sea, it becomes weak, and with time it blows up. So you can imagine what we are losing. Now, the reason why I keep repeating that traveling safe is the best is that now when you travel safe, you are covered by every international law, immigration law. 2, when you get to your destination, you are treated like the citizens. 3, you are able to work and go about your normal duties freely without let or hindrance.
Yeah. You don't run when you see the police.
Exactly. You don't become a fugitive.
Yeah.
Apart from that, nobody will cheat you. When you render service, you get paid. But here is the case: you've traveled, even the destination country is not officially aware that you are in the country. So anybody can do anything to you without you being able to run to the police. When you travel right, there is transfer of knowledge. Your family benefit, your country benefit, you yourself benefit. There is an exchange of culture. You learn people's language, culture, the way they behave, and all those things. So there is a lot to gain when you travel right. But if you decide to go irregular way, now yourself.
Because previously, on a previous episode, the gentleman we spoke to, he actually made mention of people, he said they got to a part where they were nearly sold. If not for one person who understood the language amongst them, they would have been sold to somebody else. Yeah, so I mean, all of these are the risks that, but then they know it, but then people know that this might happen, but they still go. So we tend to wonder, why do they still choose to go through those parts?
Well, I mean, like we said earlier, there are opportunities out there. Maybe what we would like to implore or beg is for the institutions, whether it's the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or Immigration or whatever institutions there, to try and form bilateral relations with some of these nations that are seeking our youth for employment. Let's take Philippines, for example. Philippines has about 0.5 in every 1,000 people who are migrants, legal migrants or regular migrants working in different parts of the world. And why is that so? It's because there are policies where they train specialized healthcare, for example, specialized nurses, and they supply them to different parts of the world. We also have various institutions. So can we also train specialized nurses, welders, plumbers, so that we can also have a bilateral relationship with other other countries, and then export these people? It's a win-win for everyone. Win in the sense that we then do not become irregular migrants. We go into regular employment. The nation benefits from the income, because last 2020 there were about $700+ billion according to the UN migration report on remittance. So when people go and they're working legally, even the illegal ones that are not properly recorded, you know, the monies that come home, it benefits all of us. A lot of people can talk about uncles and aunties that get their school fees paid by their family members abroad. So we are begging the institutions, the Migration Center in Ghana, the Foreign Affairs, that they should please sign a bilateral agreement so that we can then export skilled, highly skilled migrant workers, so that the country itself can also benefit. Because once you travel, you will find work. Will it be regular work? Because some people are working Others are collecting their salaries and they're not getting the money because you don't have the document, as he said. You are being abused because you entered. And what's making it worse now even is the is it biometrics or how do you call it? The biodata.
Okay.
Right? So now you go to the immigration office in Ghana, they take your fingerprints.
Yeah.
It's embedded in your passport. Once it's scanned, you go to the you get to the Kotoka, they will scan your eyes. I've never asked why they do scan their eyes, but they'll scan your eyes, they'll take a picture of you. And so it's the same way across border in another country. You can run, but you can't hide. Our bio details is giving us away. Those jobs where our uncles and aunties used to go and they will still be cleaning. Somebody is 𝐘𝐨𝐿, but then when he's in London, he's 𝐻𝐩𝐩𝐿.
Yes, I got a video like that.
Yes, yes. So you see him, hey, 𝐘𝐨𝐿, he'll never mind you because he's using 𝐻𝐩𝐻𝐩𝐿. All of those things are gone now, you know. So please, as Sir said, let us travel the legal way. And there are legal ways to travel. That is why we are here advocating and educating the public that they should, once they come to the right institutions, they can still travel and be legal or regular.
Be regular.
If I may add a little
Yes.
to what she has said. As I said, we do not go outside the confines of our mandate and the laws. However, we have development partners, we have stakeholders. So what we usually do is that each time we are going for community engagement and sensitizations, depending on the terrain or area we are going to, we approach one or two of our stakeholders. Some of our stakeholders are IOM, International Organization for Migration. They've been very, very helpful in our fight against irregular migration. They provide us with information. Sometimes they come on board, we go to communities, sensitize them. Sometimes if they're returnees, when it gets to the point of reintegration, for instance, they come in very strongly. Some people have gone and come, and through the help of IOM, they've been put into trade and they've learned some trade, and now they are very independent on their own. We can also talk of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They are collaborating partners. They is a major stakeholder. We can talk of the sister security agencies, because sometimes somebody may have committed an immigration offense, but through investigations it will lead to a criminal offense where we have to collaborate and also make sure that the law takes its course. So we have a lot of collaborators, but when it comes to policies and programs that will, you know, create jobs and what have you, we don't come in. We leave it for the ministries and the agencies and departments responsible for it. I know Ministry of Agri, for instance, they have some youth in Agri, youth in this, Ministry of Youth and Sports, they have some programs. So whenever we are moving, we resource ourselves with, we get information from all these agencies and we put it out there. It's not as if we are sitting aloof and allowing our youth to go through these hazardous terrains. We are doing a lot, but as I said, our motto is friendship with vigilance. We don't make a lot of noise. We don't make a lot of noise because most of our activities border on diplomatic relationship we have with the rest of the world. So in our approach to issues, we are always minded by that. But I can assure you we are doing a lot.
Okay. Thank you very much. And this is the Youth Avenue. On migration, youth and migration, there is so much to learn. There's so much to learn. And today, our sales manager from Adansi Travels has actually educated us more on it, together with Assistant Inspector for the Western Region Ghana Immigration Service.
Public Affairs.
Public Affairs, yeah, of the Ghana Immigration Service, have also educated us a bit more on it. So at this point, I'd like to take your advice that you have for the youth. And I'll start with my lady.
Right.
What do you have to say to anybody who is planning on migrating, either regularly or irregularly?
All right, so I will start with irregular,
Okay.
or for us lay people, illegal migration. As we've mentioned, maybe for those who have followed, there is no benefit. We live in a technology-filled world, so you can't hide anywhere. If you are irregular or if you are illegal in a country, your life is in danger. You can't access basic needs, as in even hospital. Some places when you're sick, you can't even go to the hospital. So please, in this 2023 modern world, it's a no-no. Now, regular, my advice is come to institutions like us.
Okay.
There is so many legal or regular ways to migrate. There is education, there is citizenship by investment, which Ghana even does. So you can invest in a country and they will grant you an honorary citizenship.
Okay.
So, I mean, there is so much. Maybe in the future programs we can talk about them. There is a school where you can go to school, you're legal, you can work while studying, you can move afterwards. And then there is finding employment, applying for the employment visa and going there legally and being a regular migrant. So please, if you do come to institutions like us at Adansi Travels, we are here to guide you to travel and be safe.
Okay.
That is the most important thing.
Okay.
Your life matters to us.
Right. And so a quick one. So do you organize programs like public educational programs for people, like for the youth in the Western region here and all that?
Well, in Western region, we are now opening our branch at the Takoradi Mall. I am a resident here, so I do a lot on the various radio stations in Takoradi. I've been to almost all the stations, educating them on travel-related issues, and also the packages that we have and opportunities. So yes, and I am here today, so at 𝐻𝐻𝐻 TV. So, and once we open our office here, you can come to us. But you can also find us on all social media platforms. We do Zoom sessions, we do day travel sessions where we educate the public. Mostly it's done in Accra, but we would definitely bring it here to the Western region. And we do bring a lot of people. So for us at Adansi, our education is also local migration. We do a lot of local trips, you know, which is beneficial for our children. To learn about culture, because some people are here in Takoradi and you hear stories like, hey, if you go to the north when the sun is so hot that your feet get, you know, all sort of stories. So you take them there and they realize that it is not all people are, you know, where I come from, I'm an Ashanti girl, and then we want to see where the fire under the sea that is boiling, the water keeps boiling, and we don't know whether it is hot or cold. So you come to the beach side and then you realize, oh, okay, it's not boiling water. Yeah, so I mean things like that.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Anything to say? Any advice for the youth?
The good book says, "What shall it profit a man if you gain the whole world and lose your soul?" In this case, you lose your life. Yes. Whoever you are, wherever you are, under my voice, Ghana needs you. Your family needs you. And you need yourself. Now, when you travel without proper documentation, without using the right channels, you have become an irregular migrant. An irregular migrant is the one who does not have any proper documentation covering the travel. and for that matter, you become a fugitive. A fugitive is the one who is always running away from the law.
Yeah.
In that case, you expose yourself to sexual exploitation, organ harvesting, abuse on your right as a human being. You cannot go to the police for support or protection because you yourself are running away from the law. It's like using counterfeit to go and buy weed.
Yeah.
You can't report to the police. So I'm just appealing. As I indicated earlier, it is safer, it is cheaper, but because we lack knowledge and information, that is why we at Ghana Immigration Service, our doors are open. Every community where you find Ghana Immigration Service office, you can go there for whatever information you require to travel. Okay. And may I sound this caution? Our youngsters who have just finished secondary school or about to finish, I will encourage parents to keep them under their thumbs. Okay. The reason being that is the period the miscreants exploit them, because within a certain period where you are at home, you finish school and you don't know your next, they exploit them a lot. And at that stage, they are very vulnerable. Yeah. Whatever you tell them, they believe it. There are those who travel without documentation in a proper way, and they don't know by the time they get to their destination, they would have been sold. When you go to some of the Arab countries, they have a name they call them. They call them kadama. Okay. Kadama means slave. So, like in the olden days, they put you in a room, people come, they point to you, and they pay to get you. So all these things are going on. The advice I will give is that if we didn't know, now we know. Let us approach the appropriate institutions, and the necessary help will be extended to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that was Assistant Inspector Moses Mumford Akapo. He's the Western Regional Public Affairs Officer of Ghana Immigration Service. Thank you so much, sir, for coming through. And then Sewa Boateng Bene, Sales Manager for Adansi Travels. Thank you so much for coming and for educating us this evening.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Wow. Okay, so this is the Youth Avenue, and we've wrapped up. We are wrapping up on youth and migration. There may be more stories which we'll bring to you, but please, if you like our content, please subscribe to our YouTube platform at Watch TV channel, and also follow us on all our social media platforms as well at Watch TV channels. Thank you so much for staying with us. Till next week, have a great time.
Watch TV, promoting sustainable development.